What's good, everybody? It's your boy Coach C, aka the Math Plug, man. Back with another video. So today what I'm going to do is give you a full dive into how to actually use the formula chart to find area. So to be successful in finding area, man, you must know the pieces of the shape. If you don't know the pieces of the shape, then those letters on that formula chart mean absolutely nothing. So I'm not going to be just sitting here repeating everything that your teacher has already told you. I'm more so going to be just showing you and demonstrating how to actually replace these numbers and be successful on using the formula chart come STAAR day. All right, so let's jump straight into it, man. The first shape that shows up under area section is going to be a triangle, and the triangle's formula is area equals 1/2 BH. A lot of people aren't comfortable multiplying with fractions or with decimals, so I teach my students to go ahead and use BH divided by 2. Okay, and what that is the same exact thing. You'll get the same exact answer, but that's what happens whenever you multiply by a half. The thing that you're multiplying by is cut in half. Okay, so like I said in the intro, guys, there's no way that you can be successful on finding the area of any shape if you don't know the pieces of it. So notice here how I'm going to label the B at the bottom of the triangle, and that right there stands for our base. Okay, that B is the same B that you see within the formula. That H on the side is our height, and that height is the same as you see in the formula. Okay, and so at the bottom, you'll see that I went ahead and wrote 5 in. That's going to stand for our base. And then I wrote 2, and that right there is going to stand for our height. Okay, and from there, I'm just going to write it into the equation. So I'm going to fill in my spaces. Wherever B was, I'm going to replace it with what I now know B is. So if 5 was B, then I'm going to write it where B is. And if 2 was H, then I'm going to write it where 2 was. And then you see that that will equal to 10. But we're not done yet. Okay, remember that divided by 2 is still at the bottom. Okay, so then we have to divide it by 2. And then you will see that your answer is actually 5. So the area of the triangle is equal to 5. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and try this one by yourself. Okay, so on this one right here, you have the base of 3 and the height of 4. So again, you're just going to replace the 3 where the B was, and you're going to replace the 4 where the H was. Okay, and that right there comes out to be 12, but you can't forget the divided by 2. That's the biggest thing about a triangle, guys. Okay, and so as you'll see that 12 divided by 2 comes out to equal 6. The area of that triangle is 6. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on our next shape. Our next shape is a rectangle, and our rectangle's formula is a lot easier than a triangle's. You simply just do what you did at first, which is just base times height. Our base is going to be down at the bottom. Our height is going to be on the left-hand side. As you see, my base here was 4, and then my height here is 3. Okay, so we're just going to fill in our numbers into our formula. It would be 4 times 3. 4 times 3 comes out to equal 12. Very simple, guys. I want you to go ahead and give this one a try. So for the one that you tried by yourself, guys, obviously you will see that you should have plugged 5 in for B. You should have plugged 3 in for your H. And that right there would have been your base times height, and your base times height would have equaled 15. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on the next one, man. The next one is a trapezoid. So if you look at the formula, it looks very similar with that 1/2 in the front of it, just like a triangle. So you treat it the same way, guys. If you multiply by a half, then that means that whatever you're multiplying is going to be cut in half. So if it's going to be cut in half, then can't you just say that it's divided by 2? And so that's what I teach my students to do, okay? So it's going to be B1 plus B2 multiplied by H divided by 2, okay? So let's go ahead and label our parts. As you see right here at the top, that's going to be B1. At the bottom, we have B2. Towards the left, or usually cutting down like the little triangle pocket of a trapezoid, you'll see that right there is the height, okay? And so let's take a look at our actual figure underneath, okay? So we have 3 up top, and then we have 4 at the bottom as our B2. And then going down the side, our height was 10, okay? So if we go to the equation, when we plug in our numbers for our letters, remember, it's just B1 plus B2. Well, what is B1? B1 was 3. And what is B2? Well, B2 was 4. So 3 plus 4 comes out to be 7. And then we just simply multiply that times the height, which was 10. So that comes out to be 70. But remember, guys, that's the biggest step right here is that we still have to divide everything by 2. So therefore, 70 divided by 2 comes out to be 35. Is that hard, bro? Like, I don't be understanding, like, what's so hard? I don't know. Again, guys, so on this one right here, I'm going to tell you, bro, do not make things harder than what they got to be. Like, bro, what is B1? 3. Okay, what is B2? 5. Okay, what is the height? 4. Okay, so go ahead and plug it in where they go, bro. What is 5 plus 3? That comes out to be 8. And then with your height being 4, that means that you would have to multiply 8 times 4. 8 times 4 comes out to be 32. And then what do you need to do to 32? Divided by 2. So therefore, your answer would be 16, guys. Very, very simple when you know what the formula is asking you. Yeah, B1 and B2 looks like such difficult things if you don't know what they are. Once you know what they are, you just like, oh, so that's what they wanted me to do? Yeah, that's it. That's it. All right, so the last shape that we're going to talk about is going to be circles. Circles can be difficult if you don't understand or pay attention because it's very simplistic. There is no height. You have a radius and a diameter. Okay, let's go ahead and start talking about that now. So your diameter is going to be your full line. That means that it goes all the way across the circle. Your radius is going to be your half line. So that means like you have to know what you're looking for whenever you're solving these circle problems, because for circumference, you need a diameter. For area, you need a radius. But either way it goes, if they give you one or the other, you should be able to figure out the other one. So like if I have a radius of 5, that means that my diameter would be 10. If I have a diameter of 20, that means that my radius would then be 10. Do we follow that? Hopefully we did. If not, I'm going to give you some examples whenever we start this. So as you see, this circle right here, it has the R going from the center of the circle out to the outside. OK, and so if you look at our first circle, our radius that is on the inside is 4. So what the problem is, what this is going to look like solving this is just going to be pi r squared. So what is pi r squared? Well, pi stands for 3.14. That's something that mathematicians are going to expect you to already know. But my kids, like I stated earlier, aren't comfortable multiplying with decimals. So I taught them how to multiply by 3. Because the thing is we'll be taking standardized tests, and most standardized tests in mathematics up until this year, I believe, were always multiple choice. And so now this year, STAAR testing is a little different. But they're asking you for open-ended questions. But most of the time they give you answer choices. And so if you have answer choices, what multiplying it by 3 will do will land you in the area of the question. So follow what I'm saying. So pi, let's just use that as 3, correct? Let's just say that we have 4 as the radius. 4 squared comes out to be 16. OK, well, if we use 3 as our pi, we would do 16 times 3. And 16 times 3 comes out to be 48. OK, in the bottom left corner, if you look, guys, I went ahead and did the multiplication for 3.14. And you will see that the answer came out to be 50.24. 50.24 is very close to 48. OK, so that right there is just the estimated rounded version. OK, I always give multiple different ways for my kids to be successful on STAAR test. All right. So on this one right here, I threw you a little curveball, guys. I tried to trick you. OK, I gave you a diameter. But that shouldn't have tripped you up too much. You should have just been able to identify that that was a diameter. And what you need to solve your problem is a radius. So here goes the quick fix. All you do is just go and cut that in half. And so cutting 6 in half will cause that diameter to now be a radius of 3. OK, and so remember, the formula for a circle is pi r squared. So therefore, you would take 3 that we're going to estimate our pi value as, right? 3 times, what is that? 3 squared, which is going to be 9. So 3 times 9 comes out to be 27. OK, and then we're going to go and find the actual multiplication value by multiplying it times 3.14. And the answer comes out to be 28.26. Can you see how 27 is very close to 28.26? So again, guys, Landing in the zone or landing in the area of the answer can be super beneficial whenever you're taking standardized testing and you have multiple choices. All right, guys, so let's go wrap it up for today, man. Hopefully I made things make sense. Making math make sense. That's the whole point of this page, man. That's the whole point of me creating these YouTube videos, man, is because too many times I hear people say math is so hard, or, oh, I'm just not good at it, or they'll make any excuse in the book, man. And what it really is just that you never fixed your problems. You're still running from them. All right, let's stop it, man. Let's go ahead and give these babies the powers and tools that they need to be successful on STAAR Test Day. If you learned anything, if I even did a aha moment, like that re-sparked the light or that sparked the light bulb while you were watching this video, please give me a like, subscribe, comment, share with somebody that you know could benefit from this. Thank you. I appreciate your time.